competing in, we are repeating in, we are believing in. It's time for us to shift our mind from best in the world to best for the world. Make decisions intentional, to take decisions intentional, making decisions intentional. Make decisions intentional, to take decisions intentional, making decisions intentional. It creates a new world to mind a shift, intentionality, perceptuality, conceptuality. We are choosing to shift our mind to best for the world, best for our world. Make decisions intentional, to take decisions intentional, making decisions intentional. Make decisions intentional, to take decisions intentional, making decisions intentional.
Welcome to this episode of School and Life. My name is Stella Nordahl, and together with a colleague of mine, Anna Brix Thompson, we have this concept called School and Life, where we explore various setups for schooling and how can we create the future together. And this episode is dedicated to a very interesting school in Bali called Kupu Kupu School. And right now I have two fantastic persons here with me. It's Didi in Bali and Didi in Sweden. So welcome, the both of you.
Thank you.
And Kupu Kupu School. Just before does it mean anything?
Yes. Kupu kupu means butterfly in Indonesian language.
All right. So is there a story about the metaphor for the butterfly in the school?
Didi?
Yeah, so kupu-kupu means butterfly, that we want the children to transform themselves from they don't know, become they know something, from bad, become good. The main point that we would like that they will expand themselves to become a better person.
Super interesting. I love the metaphor, as there is like imaginary cells, imago cells that are transforming it into a butterfly. I really like that. So Kupu Kupu School, you're both engaged in this schools. Since when? Maybe we should start with the two stories of you. Maybe we should start with Didi in Bali, and what is your story connected to the school and the ideas behind it?
Yeah, actually, I start to work since I think 2018. Then before me, Didi Ananda Sampraga was there to work with the children. So after 1 year, the school ran. So then I got involved in it. So for me, my experience to work with the children, that the children are so enthusiastic to learn something, because we have different kind of method in teaching. So we have a different method, that our teaching method is very interesting for them to learn more about themselves, about the people surrounding them, and with the nature. Yeah. So, but basically, we teach them to develop their English, but in different way. We make it in different packets.
Okay, thanks a lot. And Didi in Sweden, what is your story connected to school? How come that you engaged in this school in Bali?
Well, I was both Didi and I. We work inside an organization which promotes meditation, yoga, and also service in different forms. So so I was posted or stationed to work in Bali in 2014. I was asked to to be there and work. And then in 2000, so then I was also told that there was a piece of land, but they didn't know what to do with it, or what should we do, and what, you know. So somehow the universe provided the means for us to actually build. So we built 3 big houses there, and one of them was the school. And I had this plan about the school, that I was going to have, you know, a very good curriculum, and I was going to have really good teachers and plan everything very much in detail. And I was really enthusiastic about school. And this was in January, and I was thinking, okay, maybe sometime in March or April, everything will be ready. We will open the school. And then I thought, also, okay, meanwhile, maybe we could teach English to some of the grown-ups in the village. So there in January, I put out a little notice to the little shop there, and I said, on Wednesdays at 6:30, we will teach, you know, English for the grown-ups. So Wednesday 6:30 came, and it was completely just raining dogs and cats, and no one could go out. No one came. But then on Thursday at 6:30, all of a sudden, there's 10 little children with their notebooks and their pens outside the gates of the school. And I was alone at the place, and I didn't speak Indonesian at that time. And I was thinking, my goodness, what do I do now? So I just invited all of them come in, and we sat there for an hour, and we used the little English we could and communicated, sang some songs together. And that's how the school started. Next Thursday, we had 20 kids. And the Thursday after that, we had, you know, 25. And then it was 50 for a long time. And then when Didi came, our Didi here, she really took on the school and did a lot of good things, and had contact with the parents in a different way than I could. So then we went up to 100 kids, which we had registered now for a long time.
Wow. So, yeah, that's a story to be told. And what I'm thinking of here is that you both engage in this community. Couldn't you just give us a little bit about the thoughts behind it? Because I guess that it's also part of what the way of working in the school is all about. I guess I'm just guessing here, so maybe you can help me out. Who wants to go?
Didi, you want to say something about neohumanism?
Yeah. So the interesting in the school that we have one method of teaching. We call it neohumanism. Yeah, neohumanist education. So our mission, actually, the mission of our school is to create a new humanist school. So it means that our program is related to the neohumanism philosophy. So this neohumanism philosophy is the philosophy that extend the love toward all the creation, not only for the living being, but also the non-living being. So the children who come to our school, we ask them how to love themselves, and then to expand their love toward all the creation. So by this way, the children will develop holistically. So we want that the children develop holistic, that holistic development, all round of children development. They not only develop their IQ, but they also develop their physical, their mental, and spiritual. So this in all package. So the children will develop all of their capacity. And this will lead them to become a real human being. A human with a good character, with a good knowledge, with good heart, and good mind.
Wow.
Like that.
Yeah, I'm really impressed about what you're saying here, because I would say when you talk about it like that, what I refer to is my own school, which I attended when I was a kid. For me, it's both distant away another time, but on the same hand, it feels like it was yesterday in some sense. And I'm thinking about how I would have reacted if I as a person, if I would have had a more holistic, we can call it education for a while, in lack of better words, but way of learning, maybe way of learning, and to okay. So do you, if I understand it right, you pose questions that engage the whole being. Is that how I should interpret it?
The whole being. The whole beings mean that the real human being.
Mm.
The real human being has its characteristic that they have love to take care of all the
Well,
other things.
You can go, Didi, in Sweden. You wanted to say something?
Now, I was thinking you were, so what we're trying to do in humanist education is to develop the child, not just posing question, but everything we do, it's like a red thread in everything that we develop, the whole child. Yeah.
So you don't separate it as the Cartesian dualism does, like separating inner and outer. You're talking about holistic development instead of inner and outer development, right? Yeah. Just so we get it approximately right. So talking about neo-humanism, that means a new human, including we, I guess, instead of we and they. And so those are my words, of course. But I'm interpreting right now what you're saying in terms of my understanding, more or less. So what I'm thinking of is what happens to a person in a young age when you get a broader spectrum of capabilities or broader. I mean, you must have seen this with the kids. What happens to a person when you have like more qualities on the table than just what can be measured? Any one of you who wants to elaborate a little bit on that? Do you understand my question?
I don't understand.
Okay, so my problem here is that I have a limited worldview, because I've been into another type of school system, which is measuring everything. So science is the only way of interpreting the world, more or less. And as I understand it, you have a broader spectrum, more qualities, more capabilities, and more you call it holistic. So what does that do? Of course, if that's only what you've seen. So what if we go to the kids, what can you see in the kids? If we start there, what can you see in this holistic development? What is happening with the kids?
So when I see the kids, so I want them to develop. They have a good physical, good mental, and good spirit, spiritual. So by this way we put the method, the way of teaching, that we develop their physical body, that we give them a space to develop their physical body. For example, like exercise, like for example, in the opening of the school, we ask them to do some exercises, for example, like a brain gym, like yoga posture. So they become balanced their hormone. They have a good body, healthy. And when they have a good body, they feel good with their own body. So automatically they feel good with themselves. And then we also teach them, for example, through the storytelling, about the character. So we teach them about the good character, the value of human being, through the storytelling, and then through the example of the teacher, through many way of teaching that a good character, the morality.
And as I understand it, it's important to have a good start. I mean, this is something that I guess a lot of people have forgotten, that whatever you do, it's in that milieu, or in that not only environment, but in that holistic environment that you exist, instead of calling it inner and outer. I guess having the right set for being able to learn in a good way. That's what you do in the mornings when you start up this every day.
Yeah.
So every time we the opening class, we do these exercises. and then we have some value, the human value, and then go into the material, the lesson that we have some, for example, like science, mathematics, or the English development, and then uh, in the let's say the closing, and then we review again. So we have like opening, and then the lesson, and then the closing. In this way, the children will learn about the material very easily. I have experienced that when I put this kind of method, is they become enjoy. They more enjoy with the discipline. They more enjoy with the lesson when we have this kind of way of teaching. So because in Bali usually, or in Indonesia generally, the children, they have very little time to express themselves. So they only receiving from outside, and they cannot express themselves. So when I ask them, why do you like this? Why you choose this color? And they don't know what is the answer. So by this way of learning, we try to put the confidence in the children, so they have courage to express themselves. So by this way, I feel that they are growing, become a more confident person. Like that. So slowly we want to lead them to become a real human being with full confidence and with the love with their heart, and then they can express themselves, and then they can be happy. The most important that the children become happy in school.
Didi in Sweden, you wanted to add something there? You raised your hand.
No, I was just thinking about this brain gym that we do. It's just some of those exercises are specifically designed to open up the brain for learning. So it's a very interesting tool to use in the school.
Can you give an example? Try it out on me. Is that possible?
Well, other Didi is more updated on it now. Do you have any good one we could do?
Yeah, I would love to try out some if it's possible.
Some exercise, for example. I will do it.
Yeah.
So for example, like this kind of exercise.
Okay. So you go crossing. The legs crosses to the elbows. Yeah.
Yeah. This one is to make balance of the work of your brain, your right and left brain. Yeah. So also to massage your ears, and this one will make the children can more focus. They will they can listen the voice more clear when you do like this. And also the brain bottom. This one is the brain bottom under the this one here. This bone?
Collarbone. So it's just below the collarbone.
Below the collarbone. Yeah, okay, so there.
Then one hand is in the navel, and you touch here. And this is the brain bottom. This when you push here, and then automatically it will affect your brain. So it helps the children to become more focused.
Yeah, I can feel it's the warmth coming up in my body when I do it. So
So one hand on the stomach,
one hand on the stomach. Yes, sure. So one hand, and then you massage the bone. It's there, up there. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. But it is good if before you practice the brain gym, you drink water first, because the water will transport the oxygen toward your brain. So we ask the children to sit down and drink water slowly, and then they start the brain gym. So by this way also we teach the children how to drink the water. It's not standing, but you have to sit down and drink water slowly. By this way, the water have chance to transport the oxygen to the brain. Otherwise, the brain become conflict if we don't drink water before that. So by this way, the children they develop
Yeah, I
There
definitely can
less,
see that. I can see that it's important to have a good, again, holistic environment in the start of the, maybe everything, not only start of the day, maybe start of every new session or whatever it could be, not only in school but in life in general, I guess.
yeah,
Mm. I'm thinking here about what I'm looking for actually is to, I mean, we're in a huge transformative time right now, I guess. There are a lot of change going on and a lot of new ways of seeing things, and we things that wasn't possible before is now possible, and in some sense even entirely possible, and we need new ways to learn. And I would say it could be interesting to find, do you have any, I mean, the way you look at the world, it's important to maybe have some thoughts about that, the new neo-humanistic worldview. Couldn't you please give me some fundamental things about it? So I heard the holistic, but how far is the holistic taking you? I mean, is it holistic for the human body or human being, or how big is the holistic? Is there an end to the holistic view?
No end. It's an infinite, definitely. Well, you know, if it's holistic, means actually holistic means everything. So our worldview is that everything is connected, everything is one. And we have this mind, and the mind has this tendency to separate us, to think that we are separate from each other. But then there are deeper layers within us which we can reach, which actually, just when we reach those levels, we just automatically feel that we are one with everything in this universe, each other, and the trees and the plants and the mountains and the nature, and everything is one, and everything is connected. And there's a lot of talk these days about oneness and everything is connected, but there's not so much talk about how to get there and how to really have fully that experience.
The
Because
practices
we
behind
do a
that.
little bit of yoga and then you can feel connected, but it's not enough. It's really holistic. It's really everything, and it takes a lot of hard work to reach that place. But that is really what neo-humanist philosophy, and thus the education also, is about, how to really put that into practice in our life.
I'm also thinking of practices as definitely, I guess, that's how we create experiences for both us as persons, but also us as and here comes Didi from Romania in. Hello, good to see you.
Great.
Wow, welcome. Can you hear us?
Yes. Is this
Great?
Yes, you're right.
You're right. It's us. You're here with us. You know each other, the three of you, since beforehand, right?
Well, me and Didi, I know them both, but I don't think, maybe you have met actually in India sometime, the two of you, Didi Ananda Kanika and Didi Ananda Devapriya.
I don't think so.
Okay, great. My name is Stellan, and welcome, Didi. You're in Romania right now, is that correct?
Yes.
You have also been to the Kupu Kupu school?
No.
No. But you work with schooling within neo-humanism. Is that correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
I am working in Romania, and here we are running several projects that express neo-humanism. We have a children's home, an after-school center, as well as a kindergarten.
Wow.
The children's home and the after-school center are social projects, and the after-school center is for free. And the kindergarten is a private kindergarten in the bigger city of Bucharest.
Okay. We did a check-in a while ago here for. So, what is your own experience of? How did you come to get into those thoughts models or worldviews and maybe the schools themselves? What is your story connected to the schools within the neo-humanistic philosophy?
Well, I had not studied education or had plans originally to be in education, but I fell in love with the practices of yoga and meditation, and I started as a volunteer. And my first posting as a volunteer was already at a school, and that's when I began to, learn about neo-humanist education. I was particularly attracted to the idea of transmitting wisdom already to children from an early age, preparing them with additional skills for life than what people usually think of in education, like especially as the world's been getting more and more stimulating, to prepare them with quiet time, to enjoy quiet time, not to see it as like a punishment, like be quiet. No, but like to learn the skills of being peaceful and being centered. And I also like the critical thinking and the way that children are encouraged to really already think with their conscience and make decisions. And the ecological worldview. Actually, it brought together many threads of my existing interests, which were yoga, ecology, alternative education. I was torn at that moment which direction to go and specialize in. And
you didn't have to.
I didn't have to choose. I was able to find something that kind of rolled them all up together. And I later got posted in Italy for 4 years, and now I've been in Romania for 16 years. And here I also am involved with other networking with other organizations and doing some funded projects. I was part of an international Erasmus project with children in permaculture. So we were bringing in some of the neo-humanist points of view and combining it with permaculture and creating a curriculum for young children. So I've done a few.
That sounds quite close for me from the side to connect those two ideas. I guess it was quite connective, the two ideas of permaculture and neo-humanism. They should approximately go hand in hand.
And that's actually Didi in Bali has been doing just the last 6 months. So maybe I should connect the two of you, Didis, to talk more about that, because we just started a big garden, a permaculture garden in our school there in Kupa Kupa School. So there's a connection.
Wow. Nice.
Great. How many schools around the world are based upon this philosophy of neo-humanism? Anyone of you know that?
How many neo-humanist schools? What do you say, Didi Devapriya?
I don't have a precise number. I seem to remember something around 230, but I'm really not sure if that's precise anymore.
You don't have to have an exact digit. It's more like if it's like 10, 50,000 or whatever. So a couple of hundred. And what I'm thinking of, it's a philosophy that was created not that long ago, but it's based upon ancient wisdom, as I understand it.
Yes.
And it's close related to yoga, but is it also close related to Buddhism in general? No.
No, not really. Well, it has a little bit of a. It's not really a religion in that sense. It's a philosophy and a practice, but it has also taken a little bit of those spiritual practices that are in the different religions to use, but we don't like to call ourselves a religion per se. We are really more a philosophy and a practice. It's really about experience spirituality more than believing in a spiritual idea. We have a spiritual idea, but we want to, if it is like that, then we also want to know that, and we're not satisfied with believing it. We want to know it.
I would say some people ask that question because from the outside, you see the orange color, the meditation practices, and it's understandable. Buddhism sprang out of yogic traditions in India. So, of course, there's overlap between some of the ideas, but they are, they do have distinct philosophical basis, as Didi was also saying, and a difference in terms of focus on the practice.
Just because I'm curious, not because of the relation to school, more to life. With this episode is about school and life. What I'm thinking of is consciousness, I guess, is fundamental, just as materia is in this worldview. Could you say that? In life, at least. Okay, so where is there again? Maybe I'm talking about limits here without. Maybe I shouldn't do that. So I'm sorry, but how far does the consciousness expand? I mean, you spoke before, Didi, in Bali about embracing not only what is living but also what is not living. Did I get it that right? Anyone up to that? Help me
Is
out.
Didi in Bali still with us?
Yeah, I guess so. Do
Yeah.
you hear? Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that did I understand it right that you wanted to expand life not only to what was alive but also what wasn't alive?
Yeah.
Was that?
What I said before, that to expand our love not only toward the living being but also the non-living beings. The non-living being is something not living, like our earth, for example. So, so the children, since early, they can develop the love for all the creation in this universe. I mean that they not only love for the living being, but also they will take care of the non-living being. For example, like our earth. So we see now this crisis, how is our earth is become destroyed by the human being. So when we can develop this feeling since early to the children, so they can build a bright future. In the future, they will take care of the earth, our mother earth, so they can live in harmony with the nature.
What I'm thinking of here is like it's a little bit connected to what you're saying here, that you more or less have built in what a lot of people now are looking for. It's quite a new word, I guess, called resilience. It's a way of dealing with uncertainty and maybe reform uncertainty to possibilities, I guess, or something like that. That's approximately how I interpret the word resilience. And what I'm thinking of here is that if you can bring in as much of yourself into life or into school or into work or whatever it is, then you also have a wider and broader and deeper possibility of using those, using a whole of yourself. And sometimes it's a physical part and sometimes it's a mental part, but it's all connected. So what I'm thinking of here is that in this series of programs, we're going to explore a little bit about what could be seen as alternative way of schooling. But what I would love to do is actually to see how can we not connect those different systems. That's not what I'm up to, but more, can we find practices or maybe even fundamental assumptions that would be valid for a new ordinary school. That's my little plan here. if you could say it like that, would that be of interest? I mean, of course you can always talk to each other within a system. I've worked a lot with some Montessori schools, and I also have my own kids in such a school, and they are very open to each other. So my idea is to open them up for new perspectives and new perception. And we also we have contacts here together, me and Anna Briggs Thompson, as I spoke of in the beginning, with different types of schooling systems. And she herself attended a total democratic school when she was young, a Freinet school, where they didn't even have a curriculum. So there is like a huge span of ideas, but I guess that there are principles that could be valid for a new type of schooling, maybe a new normal. So if you're interested in that, I would like to take it one step further and do something about it. I don't know how, but I definitely know why. So because we need this, we need new ways of looking at the world and new ways of thinking and new ways of doing stuff. But I think we should wrap this up because we have a new concept coming up here in just 15 minutes or something. So before we do that, we can just take a round and maybe your wishes for the next step with where you are. I know Didi in Bali, you're at the school Kupu Kupu. I know that Didi in Sweden, you're right now in Sweden, and maybe, I don't know, are you waiting for a new assignment, or are you just feeling comfortable with what it is? And Didi in Romania, I still don't really know, are you engaged in all those schools, or is it just one, and so on? So what is the next step in your endeavor with the schools and the school system and neo-humanism? Is that a good yeah, it's a broad but also a quite specific question for each of you. Who wants to go first?
Didi and Anda Kanika?
Yeah. So a new system for our school. Yeah.
For you,
So in the future, we really want to develop more creativity, that to develop our system, the way of teachings. For example, like more on first of all, so to make all the activity to make the children feel good with themselves, and then after that to feel good with the others and to feel good with the nature, to be connected with the nature. So more on outdoor activity, for example, and then more creativity on to make the children more interest to learn something, that not that we are pushing them to learn, but it is the interest is growing from inside them. So I would like in the future that the system will lead toward this one, so they can happily learning something. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Who's next up?
Didi?
Thank you. So this year has honestly just been a year, already more than a year, of just trying to get by and survive in a way. We have had to adjust with so many different changes because of the pandemic. But where we are headed, where we need to continue to work, is on expanding the lessons and the best practices that we've developed in the school to other teachers. So my next step is really to be working on teacher training, because that way I feel we could increase our impact instead of it remaining limited only to our school. We have done teacher trainings in the past, like the Children in Permaculture and other diversity trainings, yoga for kids, peace education, etc. But I just want to bring more focus into that so that we can really start training more teachers working in the public system and in other schools to bring these bring some of these ideas and practices into contact with a broader number of children. That's my deepest
Super
wish.
interesting, yeah.
To see it really spread.
Thank you very much. And finally, Didi.
Yeah. Well, I'm not directly involved in a project or in a school at the moment, and I'm in Sweden because of the corona. But I teach a lot of yoga at the moment, and I also have a lot of meditation classes online this last year, which it's been going on quite for a year now. It's been a very interesting process. So yeah, I'm not really sure what my future within neohumanist education per se is, but we'll see.
And that's the good thing. You get also to decide, and that's great, in some sense, at least, I guess. Okay, so thank you very much, all of you. Didi in Bali with Kupu Kupu School. I wish you good luck and all the best with the school and the kids. 100 of them, as you said. And Didi in Romania. Fantastic work there, and I also believe that you need some kind of a trained trainer, but maybe again, if you use the same practices, that it will be more an exploration journey, I guess. and Didi in Sweden. It will be nice to see you around again and see how things develop and what will happen during the summer where you live and what you do there. So thank you very much for being part of this, and thank you everyone for listening in. And if you want to get in contact with any of us, I guess it's I don't know exactly how to do, but I guess that it's just to contact the schools themselves. And I also found Kupu Kupu School on Facebook, so I guess that's one way forward at least.